Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're opening up some really fascinating sources on a truly transformative figure, Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism.
Yeah.
Our aim here is to, well, understand not just his life story, but the powerful, maybe even radical simplicity of his path. It's all rooted in truth, equality, and this idea of oneness.
Absolutely.
So the story kicks off in 1469 in Talwandi. It's now Nankana Sahib in Pakistan, a time and place, marked by pretty deep social divides. But the real catalyst for his philosophy, the thing that crystallizes everything, it comes later. It revolves around this pivotal moment.
That experience in the river Bain.
Exactly. He goes to bathe, disappears for 3 whole days, and when he comes back, he's completely changed. And that first thing he says, well, it sets the stage for everything else.
It really does. And what just jumps out from the accounts is the sheer audacity of what he said right then. He wasn't just offering some gentle spiritual advice. He was directly confronting the whole social and religious setup. He declared, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim, there is only the one.
Wow.
Think about that. 15th century South Asia, a world just fractured by caste, by religion, by identity. That single sentence just wipes away all those labels people used to define themselves and often, to divide themselves. It puts the oneness of God and critically the oneness of all people right at the center, the absolute foundation.
Okay, let's unpack his early life then, because the sources are pretty clear he wasn't your average kid.
Right.
Even before the river incident, Nanak showed this kind of extraordinary awareness, compassion. The stories describe him asking these really deep questions about life, about existence, God, while other kids were just, being kids.
And that deep inner searching, it set him on a collision course with tradition pretty early on. I mean, the world he grew up in was full of rituals, superstitions, often designed to keep a certain social order in place, right?
Yeah.
So his first really revolutionary act wasn't political, it was spiritual. He started rejecting those rituals he saw as empty. He argued they actually got in the way, obscured the real direct connection with the divine.
So it wasn't just about simplifying things.
Not just simplifying, it was about authenticity. His core belief was that, sincere seeking, living an ethical life, that was way more important than just going through the motions of some ceremony. He was challenging the whole idea that you needed intermediaries or complex structures to connect spiritually. He wanted that direct link.
Okay, so after this awakening experience at the river, he doesn't just retreat or write a book, he travels.
He hits the road, embarks on these major journeys, they're called the Eudasis, traveling incredibly far and wide to share this message of, universal love and devotion.
And the sheer scope of these travels is, frankly, staggering, especially for the 15th century. We're talking India, yes, but also across Tibet.
Yeah, challenging terrain.
And into the Middle East, Arabia, Persia, major centers of power and thought at the time.
It's like he was physically demonstrating that this message wasn't just for one group or region, it was for everyone, everywhere.
Right. Which brings us nicely to the message itself. Let's get into the specifics. The sources seem to boil down his wisdom into 6 kind of timeless core principles. If you want a clear framework for Sikh thought, this is probably it. And they still feel incredibly relevant.
Definitely. We can start with the absolute bedrock, the theological foundation. First principle, oneness of God. Nanak was absolutely clear on this. God is one, formless, beyond our human definitions, beyond religion, beyond borders, and crucially, accessible to anyone who sincerely seeks. This wasn't about some exclusive club.
That alone is pretty powerful, rejecting all the regional gods and specific interpretations.
Hugely unifying. And it leads directly into the second principle, equality of all beings. This is where the social revolution really kicks in. He explicitly, completely rejected the caste system, that rigid hierarchy that dominated society.
Just threw it out.
Completely. And, just as radically, proclaimed that men and women are equal in the eyes of the divine. Full stop.
Okay, that declaration of absolute equality, that must have sent shockwaves. What happened? You can't just say that in 15th century India without consequences, surely.
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just talk. It was a total paradigm shift. By rejecting caste, he wasn't just saying people were equal in theory. He created spaces where they were equal in practice. People from all backgrounds could literally sit and eat together. This became the Langar, the free community kitchen, a cornerstone of Sikh practice.
So it attracted people who were pushed to the margins.
Exactly. It drew in those who were excluded by the existing systems. It turned spiritual belief into direct social action, into building a new kind of community.
So we have the theological base, the social equality. Now it seems the principles shift towards ethics, how you live your life.
Precisely. Belief isn't passive for Nanak. You have to live it. So the next principle is truthful living, Satnam. The core idea here is simple but profound. Living honestly, acting with integrity, being truthful in your dealings. That's the highest form of devotion, more important than any pilgrimage or ritual.
Your daily actions become your worship, in a sense.
In a very real sense, yes. And that needs inner fuel, which brings us to Naam Simran.
The inner work.
Right, the continuous remembrance of the divine. Through contemplation, meditation, chanting, often focusing on the Shabad, the divine word or hymn, it's about maintaining that connection, not just, once a week, but as a constant state of awareness, ideally.
Okay, so internal remembrance fuels external truthful action. What about community and, practical life? Earning a living.
That's where the final two principles come in. They ground the spirituality firmly in the world in selfless action. First, there's seva, selfless service. This is the obligation really to serve humanity, not for reward, not for recognition, just because it's the right thing to do. It's seeing the divine in everyone and acting on it.
And the last one?
Vend Shakna.
Yeah.
This is a two-parter, really. You must earn your living honestly, that's Kirat Karo, but then critically, you have a responsibility to share what you earn, share your resources with those in need.
Earn honestly, share generously. That sounds practical.
Yeah.
Is there a story that illustrates this? These last principles seem very grounded.
There's a very famous one, actually, that perfectly captures both truthful living and sharing. The story of Pai Lalo and Malik Bago.
Right. Tell us that one.
Okay, so Pai Lalo was a poor carpenter, earned his keep through honest hard work. Malik Bago, on the other hand, was a rich local official known for exploiting people. Guru Nanak visits the town and both invite him for a meal. Nanak chooses the simple, honestly earned food of Lalo over the lavish feast offered by Bago.
Which causes a bit of an uproar, I imagine.
Exactly. Bago is offended, demands to know why. So Nanak takes a piece of Lalo's simple bread in one hand and a piece of Bago's rich food in the other. He squeezes them both. And the story goes, from Bago's bread, drops of blood emerge, symbolizing the exploitation and corruption behind his wealth. But from Lalo's simple bread, drops of milk symbolizing purity, honesty, and rightful labor.
Wow. That's quite a visual, a direct lesson.
A very clear demonstration. How you earn your living is fundamentally linked to your spiritual state. You can't separate them.
When you put all 6 principles together, oneness, equality, truthful living, remembrance, service, sharing, it really paints a picture. It feels less like a restrictive religion and more like a universal path, a way of living ethically, grounded in love.
I think that's exactly right. And maybe one of his most brilliant moves, practically speaking, was how he distilled all this down for everyday life. He knew people needed something clear, something actionable.
Like a cheat sheet.
Sort of. He gave them 3 core guiding principles, often called the 3 pillars. They neatly summarize the whole philosophy for daily practice. They are Kirat Karo, work, honestly, Nam Jepal, remember God, and Venchako, share with others.
Work, pray, share. Simple.
Simple, powerful, and covers all the bases. Devotional, ethical, communal, easy enough for anyone to grasp and try to live by, no matter their background.
And this focus on practical, shared, living, ethical work.
Right.
That directly led to the community he founded, right? The Sikh Panth.
Yes, it wasn't just abstract teaching. He founded a community, a Sanghat, that grew exponentially. It wasn't just another sect. It was a movement built on devotion, yes, but also on this radical equality, ensuring these principles were lived out daily.
A living legacy.
A living legacy. And his teachings, the hymns he composed, this whole philosophical framework, it's all meticulously preserved in the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh Holy Scripture. But what's really crucial, I think, for anyone listening, is that while these texts are sacred to Sikhs, the message itself, it breaks out of any religious box. His words speak to anyone, anywhere who's looking for justice, for peace, for a more integrated, meaningful spiritual life.
So, pulling this all together for us now, what's the takeaway? In a world that still feels so divided by ideology, wealth, history, you name it, Guru Nanak's unwavering focus on oneness, on compassion, on service. Maybe it's more critical now than it's ever been.
I think so. If you connect it back, he essentially kind of democratized spirituality. His core message was a radical redefinition. Spirituality isn't mainly about rituals or labels. It's fundamentally about how you live, your conduct. It's about living truthfully, serving others with genuine love, and crucially, recognizing that divine spark in absolutely everyone you meet. Less focus on the external stuff, more on the internal state and the outward action.
That really brings it home. Okay, before we wrap up, let's leave you with one final thought from Guru Nanak himself, something to carry forward, maybe mull over. He said, "There is no stranger, there is only you. Just think about that for a moment. How does that change how you see the world, how you interact with the next person you meet? There is no stranger, there is only you.